So also in this lesson, let us look at the five basic parts of the computer. Five basic parts of the computer. In this case, we have input. Input. So what is the input? Five basics of the computer. Number one, we are having input. So what is input according to what you have heard? Oh, from the previous video lessons, what you learned from as a definition of input. So we say that input, these things we use to get information into the computer, things we use to get information into the computer. That is input. So list as many as you can think of, meaning that here I want you to tell me what are those input devices in the comment section. So you will give me those inputs. So thank you. Let's continue. We got output. Output, things we use to see the results of what we do with information one work with. So here we can say list as many as you can think of. So you are going to list for me the output devices or the output results that we get, the output things we get after processing. List as many devices as you can think of. So even here we are having we are saying that list as many devices as you can think of that are both input and output. So here we want devices which enable you to input and devices which enable you to output. So I want input devices and output devices. You will write those ones in the comment section below. So let's continue here. Let's continue to the next. We are having what we call a central processing unit. Central processing unit. That is what we call a CPU. So what is a central processing unit? A central processing unit, or you processes your instructions. In most cases, we call it the brain of a computer. So a CPU processes your instructions. It is the traffic cube. It is the traffic cube that tells the computer what to do. It also works with numbers. So meaning that let's say that I have commanded my computer, for example, let me open up an app called the calculator. So if I open up my calculator here and I give it I give it a certain condition, like for example 7, get for me 7, add there 8, it means that I have inputted 7, but I want 7 to be processed with the 8 and get results. So what enables me to get this answer as 15 is what we call a central processing unit. And in central processing unit, we have different units there in CPU. For example, the arithmetic logic unit. So the arithmetic logic unit actually is the one which enables me to deal with those numbers or those calculation things. And we have other things like the control unit. The control unit helps to control the operations on our computer. So then we have another point which is number 4, and that is the memory. So in the memory, what do we find in the memory? So remember, we are seeing the devices. The devices so we are having our number 4, our number 3. We had central processing unit. So number 4, we are having memory. So that is random access memory and read-only memory. So what is the difference between random access memory and read-only memory? So let's see. RAM, or what we call RAM, or read access memory, random access memory. So this is the short-term memory, The computer holds information it needs while it is working. When the computer turns off, the information on RAM disappears. So for example, what does this one mean? Let's say that you have been on your computer, you are typing something, you are editing something, and in that moment, power goes on abruptly. So it means that if you had not saved your information to another permanent storage device, maybe a flash, maybe a diskette, or a compact diskette, so it means that your information will get lost, because what was helping you to work on your work was what we call RAM. That is why you normally say that if you are working with RAM, if you open your computer and start typing, after typing some text, save it, because you are working on RAM. So we want you to transfer your information to ROM. So ROM is that is why we are saying that ROM, or read-only memory. These are instructions that are a permanent part of the computer, that are permanent part of the computer. So what do we mean here? What do we mean here? It means that the difference between RAM and ROM. RAM stores information temporarily, whereas ROM stores information permanently. So that is the only difference between RAM and ROM. So we are saying that in ROM, these instructions are built on pieces of the computer called chips. These are used to start up the computer, keep time, and do other things that never change. Then we are having number 5 here. Number 5, which is storage. Storage. So what do you think is storage? In this, we are saying that this is where the computer keeps your information. This is where the computer keeps your information. There are many types of storage. For example, the storage devices. Storage devices. For example, we have a hard drive. A hard drive. What is a hard drive? The hard drive is inside the actual computer. The hard drive, the hard diskette. So for example, I can show you this. I think you can see this one. This is what we call a hard drive. So we are having what we call a CD or a DVD. So CD or a DVD, we are having these ones, these very shiny diskettes. So we call those ones CDs or compact diskettes. Then we're having DVD. You can read information from CDs and DVDs. On some computers, you can also write information on CDs and DVDs. They are also examples of storage medias. Then we have what we call a USB drive. What is a USB drive? This is a small object that many people use to store data. This is a small object that many people use to store data. Then USB drives are easy to take with you from one place to another, meaning that you can transfer or you can move with your USB device. So examples, I can show you mine. I can show you mine here. So an example, I think you can see it. So I have this one. This is my USB. So I think you can see it. So this one is called a USB drive. So we are saying that USB drives are easy to take with you from one place to another. People call USB drives other names. For example, thumb drive, jump drive, or flash drive. So yeah. So for example, mine was a flash drive. So we are having another thing called the cloud. The cloud. What is the cloud? The cloud is another word for the internet. So the cloud, many people talk about cloud. But do you know what cloud is? So I'm saying that another name or another word for that means cloud is internet. Internet. There are many free ways to store information on the cloud. Some examples are Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive. So many people store their information on the Google Drive, on their Google Drives.